Hello everyone and welcome to pretty much nearly the end of the year. It's been a rough year. It's been a really rough year for everyone, honestly, for everyone in a lot of ways. Mostly for me, it's been personal issues, but obviously with the ongoing issue with the virus and the new virus that's happened as well, you know, it's been a rough year. It's been a rough year, but there's been some good parts. There's been some good, really great situations in my life personally, not in general, but in my life it's been pretty good. This year there are obviously I hit the worst point that I've ever been at this year. This year it was like to a point in the middle of the year, obviously with my previous relationship, how it ended and what happened, and everything like that. That was it. Just hit the peak where it was the worst I've ever been. You know. But we've also had some really great times as well, like uploading these videos. Having people watch them, recording and playing games, all that sort of stuff. It's just really, really helped a lot for me to obviously get distracted by what was going on, and obviously because I like playing games and recording anyways. It hit, basically hit two birds with one stone. Basically, it was kind of that situation. But yeah, we've had some really on and off situations this year. Um, it's been way more personal than it has been general. Generally, because the virus that's gone around, obviously, both of them, the new one and the other virus, hasn't really affected my lifestyle very much. Like, there's so many people who it's affected a lot, and has created so many issues between people, and jobs and stuff like that in the beginning, all that sort of stuff, and not being able to get out of certain countries and going to certain countries when you're there, all that sort of stuff. It's like for loads of people, it's been a general issue for them and their life, whereas for me personally, it's not been that much of an issue for me. Like my lifestyle, my hobbies and stuff like that, they are usually just inside anyways. Most of my life I've pretty much been inside the house, cooped up, playing games, not recording at the time, but now I am, obviously, for the past, what has it been, like, I don't know, over a year. I think I started recording. I think I started recording sometime last year, wasn't it? I think it was sometime last year or the beginning of this year. I can't remember exactly when. I think it was last year because we had a few months break as well. So I think it might have been last year sometime that we actually started this channel. And obviously there was a long break, like a 5-month break, or 4 months. It doesn't matter, right? It was a long time break that we had between them because of a situation that was going on, and I didn't really feel like recording, and I couldn't, because of I had a job and stuff like that, and I had to prioritize certain other things than playing the game, and I was very down at those times. And I don't want to play a game just to distract myself. I want to play a game and actually have fun with it. I want to play a game and when I'm recording and actually be myself rather than try and pretend to be okay. Because during that situation with the relationship that ended, the entire time I just wasn't okay, and it was the worst relationship ended point that's ever happened in my life. It's like the worst possible thing that happened to me this year. And I think it's the lowest I've ever been in my entire life. And that's saying something, because for people who actually know me, people who actually have been in my life, and people who have actually, cared enough to even understand me as a person, it's nearly impossible. It's been nearly impossible for anyone to bring me down to the point where I was this year. Like, since I was young, obviously during the situation that happened when I was young, I kind of grew up quicker than so many other people that probably have in general. Most of my family, obviously, they're kind of still in that same situation as you know, maturity wise. Like, yeah, I can be very childish at times. I can be very stubborn and, very very just idiotic in a way. But since I was young, I kind of started these kind of maturity stages a lot earlier on because at a young age, I put myself purposely in situations that I thought could help me grow mentality for the future, because I knew what at a young age I had a realization of what the world was, what the world has become, and what the world, you know, the real world is, not just childhood world, because childhood world is like you can do whatever, there's no consequences at all as a childhood stuff and stuff like that. I still had a good childhood, but to a point, after a certain situation that happened when I was younger, I had a realization that, I want to become a person who is able to be stable enough through absolutely everything that's thrown. And it worked. It's worked really well, because I'm able to cope with probably every 98% of every situation that could ever happen. Because I've put myself, obviously I haven't been through everything, like everything that everyone's going through. I haven't been through everything like physically and mentally and stuff like that, but I've grown my mentality since a young age, purposely, so that it grows to the point where when something does happen, I'm quickly able to think rationally in an instant and come up with ideas and solutions for problems that most people would freak out about. Most people wouldn't be able to think very rationally because of those particular situations. And at a young age, I started off early doing that because I knew the world wasn't easy. I already knew and realized that I don't want things to be easy. Because if things are easy, then you don't learn anything. You don't get taught anything. If everything's easy and given to you, if ever, not if ever, whenever you are alone, and there's not that thing there anymore that gives you what you've gotten, you're screwed. Because you don't learn anything if you take the easy way out of things. If you avoid things, if you take the easy way out of these situations, you don't learn from it. You not knowingly, so many people just they cause those problems by avoiding the situation again in the future, if that makes sense. When avoiding the situation, it eventually comes back to them again in the future, and it just keeps on going on, and it's a cycle that so many people just can't get out of. And it's not everyone's fault. It's not their fault most of the times, because obviously it's just the way they've grown up. It's the same way I've grown up. The way I've grown up is most of it was by myself because I liked to be independent. I preferred to understand and know these things on my own, because then it just sticks into my brain. And yeah, I know that the point of this that I was explaining is clearly gone out of control, but my point is to that was, because I'm able to cope with so many things this year, that relationship situation just brought me to a point where I've never been in my life at all, ever. And it had me think really irrationally. It had me down to the point where I never thought anyone could bring me. I never thought it was possible for me to get that low. And although it didn't seem like it, I'm able to hide and avoid my emotions so easily due to previous past situations that I've been through and dealt with. But yeah, it's like my mentality has grown so much to the point where I could just I could become completely emotionless and shut them off completely. Like I've it's like in a way it's like it's not a good thing. Like trust me, it's I thought as a kid growing up with these things and having these understandings of things and going through these things, I thought it would help a lot, and it has helped a lot. It has helped me get through things really rationally, think very clearly about situations like like financial situations that they don't teach you in school, all personal adulthood life situations that I put myself through to understand life more and to get through it much easier than so many other people. And it has helped a lot. Um, but yeah, it's just that time for those past months. I think it was like 4 or 5 months that is was therefore that I couldn't really think very clearly. I couldn't distract myself from anything. Even playing games and stuff just weren't working. Even going to work every time just weren't working. It was just like it was always constantly on my mind. Um, but during this situation, although that was like really bad for me this year, and although that was like the worst peak time I've ever had in my life, you know, I'm glad I got through it. I'm glad I got through all that, but I couldn't have got through any of that, without this one specific person who has been here basically in my life for the past months that it's actually been that those situations happen. So when the relationship ended, obviously I got so low to the point where, because I weren't really a social kind of person online, so I didn't really talk to people. I didn't really have friends. I didn't really have online friends and stuff like that. I had family and stuff like that. Obviously I had my dad, mum, everyone to talk to and stuff. But it's like when you grow up with those people, my family specifically as well, it's like a lot of them tend to not try to understand me as a person. Me and my dad especially. I realized probably a year or two ago that me and my dad are so similar to the point where I don't like it. Like it's just something that, because we both have our own rational thinking, we both have our own opinions, we both always have something to say, whether it's to each other or about a specific situation. And the difference is when I'm talking to my dad about it and he explains something to me, I listen. I don't need to take the advice, obviously, which I don't, because I like to do things and learn things on my own, because it makes things easier. And if I make a mistake, even if he warned me, if I make a mistake, that mistake I can learn and get over quickly. I don't like people telling me that this can happen if you do this, so don't do it. Because if I go to do it, then the consequences that happen is my fault. But then I can learn from it, I can get over it. So it's just me and my dad are very, very, like, pretty much nearly the exact same kind of personality in a way, and they collide so much. But anyways, back to the other point. The point is I had no one during that situation. I chose not to speak to so many people. I chose not to make friends because of a personal situation from previous friendships and stuff like that. I chose not to grow friendships. I chose to be on my own. I chose to be very independent because it was just easier. There's no one there to tell you you're doing something wrong, or there's no one there to judge you from doing something. I don't mind people judging me. People can judge me if they want. It's their life that's they're wasting, not mine. If someone has a problem and they're judging me for it, you're only wasting your own mind and your own efforts, judging me, because I know my flaws, I know my issues, I know my strengths and weaknesses. I know everything about myself more than anyone ever will. I know myself to the point where I purposely make it very clear my bad side and good side, because everyone has one. Everyone has a good side and bad side, some worse than others and some better than others, but I know what mine are. You know, I know where my peak is at. You know, so it's like you can come at me, you can say whatever you want, you know, you can judge however you like, say whatever you feel, but you're only wasting your own life away. You're only wasting your own time because it doesn't affect me. I've heard it all before. I've been through it. I've heard it. I listen to it. I make sure that I see it because it's just, you know, it's like, it's pointless. It really is. It's really pointless. But anyways, yeah. So during that time, anyways, right, I need to stick to one thing. I need to stick to one thing and just talk about the one thing, then finish it, then go to the next, because I'm not doing that at all. So this is probably very confusing. But basically, I'm trying to say that there was one person there, and who has been here for, well, since the situation happened with the relationship. You know, since the situation happened, you know, there's been that one person who, you know, has been here since then, and has genuinely helped a lot. I'm not gonna name names, but obviously if you watch this video, you know who you are. You know, but it's like, I never thought I'd get through this. Like, because it was at my peak moment where I was at the worst that I could have ever been in my life, that I've ever experienced in my life. The worst feelings I've ever had, the worst thoughts I've ever thought, just the worst everything, you know, of this year. And I really pulled through because of that one person who's been there and who's been here, who I've spoken to pretty much every day that we can. Completely different countries, completely different, very far away. But strangely enough, we managed to make time to talk. And I'm very glad and I'm very appreciative of that, because as well as much as I don't have a big friend group, as much as I don't like having a big friend group, I'm glad that I'm able to have gotten through what I had, because I genuinely didn't think that I could. I genuinely, as much, and obviously with Cairo as well, obviously, most of my thought was going into that. So before I moved, obviously when I was down in Wales and the situation was popping off and all that sort of stuff, my first thought was, I instantly backed off every emotion I've ever had in that situation. I figured out instantly how I would go about getting here so that I can see him every day, right? So that I can be there, and so that he doesn't have to grow up without me, because no one deserves to grow up without a family, you know, no one deserves to grow up without a mother or father or anything like that. And I know slightly obviously my dad was there. But because as a kid, you know, he made promises that most of them he didn't keep. And as a kid growing up, I never wanted any of my kids I ever had ever to grow up that same way. I never wanted, or will ever want, Cairo to go through a similar thing that I did. I want his life to be better than mine. I want him to be better than me. And that's exactly what everything should be. You know, as a parent, obviously, you know, I mean, even before I was a dad, right? Before that, it was like, I already had these thoughts. I already had these visualizations of these situations, because it's just those sort of rational thinking that I had at the time. I knew what I wanted my future kids to have a life of. Not exactly, I can't control their life, obviously, but the basic situation. I didn't want, obviously they're going to go through things that are very similar that everyone goes through. You know, those sort of things are inevitable. You know, like, they're going to hurt themselves. They're going to be stupid. They're going to, like, you know, get hurt. They're going to get bruised. You know, they're going to, you know, be kids, you know? Those things are inevitable. They're going to get messy. They're going to get very you know, have an attitude eventually. But those things, there's certain things you can control where, you know, whereas my dad was there, but because he stopped he promised things he couldn't keep most of the time. And as a kid, going through that was just like, it felt really bad, and I felt really betrayed about it. And as a kid, I didn't obviously younger than thing. I didn't really properly understand. Obviously, I understand a lot more now. He was self-employed and he had to get these things done because it was his only way of income. So growing up, I knew that then eventually. Still, I don't hold a grudge against it. I do jokingly, obviously, now. But I don't hold a grudge anymore about it. But as a kid, growing up with that, I knew how it felt. And I never want Cairo to ever feel that way. So to me, personally, me not like my first thought when I was moving was I need to be there. Whether, whether I live without food or water for a long period of time, which is exactly what happened. Before I moved, it was a very struggling time to even manage to get here. I'm not going to get into all of it, but basically the situation is, so we had a joint account for Universal Credit, and it was about 1,100 that we would usually get. And when she moved up here, about a month, just under a month later, I got then, I think it was a month, it might have been less than a month, it might have been a week or two, but about a week or two later, I got the last payment that was the joint claim. I got the last payment that we would have because she stopped the joint claim and claimed for herself and Cairo, obviously. But because it was close to payday anyways, they count, because it's for the previous month, not that month. They gave the entire 1,100. Obviously, I told her, because I told her that's the amount that I got, and I said to her, I said, okay, is it okay for me to use this to be able to rent a place for up here so I can still see Cairo? That didn't happen. So obviously she then went off on one about taking her half and Cairo's half of that, because she decided when she left, she didn't take anything of use when she left. When she left, it was just Cairo and a couple of clothes, and most of it wasn't even his clothes, it was her clothes. But because I know that, because all the bags were still here, most of the bags were still here. So as much as I'm not trying to paint a bad picture, right? I'm just saying what things were. I'm not trying to paint a bad picture. I'm just saying exactly what happened. But it was thinking very irrationally about those things, and when you have a kid, you shouldn't think irrationally about those things. You need to, as much as the situation was a bad situation, and obviously, yeah, the things that were going on, the arguing and stuff like that at the time, yeah, it was bad, right? But you gotta, as a parent and just as a person in general, you just gotta put those aside and think first about what that kid needs, because that's not what happened. So most of it, obviously, she didn't take his medications that he could have needed because of his Laryngomalacia thing, I think it was. I don't know if that might not have been such an issue anymore, since he was a lot older than when it actually happened and occurred in the first place. So some of the medications that he was on might not have been needed, but I know all of his medications either way was still in the house. She didn't bring any food to Cairo. She didn't Because basically, what I'm trying to say is the money that I got, she then complained at me, saying that she needs pretty much most of that to support herself. Which I gave. Obviously, I gave her without thinking about it. I just did it. Yeah, I complained obviously because I said, okay, well, you should have taken these things. You should have been able to think about these things first, rather than just leave. It was very stupid, honestly. I'm not gonna get into it, and I'm not, because it's not an issue anymore. It's not such an issue anymore. But I'm just explaining the situation a little bit clearer, because clearly to so many people, the situation isn't very explained clearly, and it doesn't need to be. It's over now. It's done. It's gone. I'm just talking about the entire year, so I may as it's just part of something that happened. So because it's part of this year, it's like that's just what I'm going to talk about, a little bit. So anyways, it was very struggling to get here renting. So luckily I was able to, but obviously it was like my last bit of money that I had moving. I couldn't bring anything with me. The only things I brought with me was there were a few boxes, Xbox PC and stuff like that, and a couple clothes. And most of everything else was still at my mum's, still down my dad's, in boxes. I couldn't bring anything else because we only had a car. And when I rented the shared apartment that I had, for an entire week, I pretty much went without food. And I mean, I had water because I had a sink in the room, but pretty much went without food for the entire week. And that's just what I had to do. That's what just, obviously I had food every now and then because obviously my dad would give me some money sometime and my mum did, but it was just food while I was in work. I needed to think rationally. I needed to think how much I could spend without actually dying because of starvation. But those are the things I had to think about and struggle with, because I had to I wanted to be there for Cairo. I needed to be there for Cairo. I wanted to see him. I didn't want him to grow up with me 300 miles away, and only being able to see him probably twice or three times a year, because I wouldn't have the money to come up every now and then because I was only with Universal Credit, and getting a job down there was very, very difficult because there weren't really many in the area. So these are the things I was thinking about, and it was I was very lucky. And I'm a very lucky person to have these rational thoughts, to be able to cope and think very clearly in very, very difficult situations. I'm very lucky that I grew up with these things, because if I didn't, so many people struggle with understanding things, like with debt, with rent, with all this sort of stuff. It's like so many people have so many issues with it, and I feel very lucky that I'm able to just smash through that and just get through it and know when to do something, what to do, and how to do it. So I'm very lucky in that regards, because that's just the way I brought myself up. That's just the way I made myself. That's the way I chose to be. But yeah, so like a lot of the times I had hardly any money to even support myself. When I got a job, obviously it was a lot better, like a lot better. Obviously I was still having these thoughts. It was very difficult to go into work because I was having these thoughts. Then I was asked to look after Cairo because Liberty was exhausted. I was asked to stay sometimes because she got back late because she was out somewhere with her mum, I think. But yeah, there was these times where I just chose Cairo over work, and that's what I always will do. I will always choose him over working, because I know what it's like, And as much as it's not a bad thing to choose work because it's needed. You know, you need the money to support the kid as well, and that's what you are thinking about the kid in that regards. But because of the way I grew up as well with my dad, it's like I will always choose him over work. I will always choose to be with him if it came down to it. And that's exactly what I did. You know, that's exactly what I chose to do. You know, so when I was asked to look after him, when I was asked to stay because to see to him through the night and all that sort of stuff, then you know that's exactly what I did. I got to see him every day that I could. I got to, and as much as it was very struggling in the beginning to see him, because obviously when you enter the relationship, I had to see her every day, you know, at that time, and because I had to see her every day, it was very very difficult to cope with having to see her every day, knowing how I felt still, and you know, it was very difficult to just think or not think about it. Basically, it was very difficult to put those thoughts and feelings aside. And it went on for like 4 months or something like that. That it was very difficult to go through, and I'm glad I was able to get through it. And you know, that's very thanks to that one person who you know who you are, who was here, you know, who has been there and who has helped me get through these things, and who was there and didn't just leave because, you know, of the situation that was going on. As dire as it was, as bad as it was, this person always stayed. You know, this person was always there, and you know, as many times as I thought that I was burdening this person, they never thought of it that way. And knowing the situation that was going on, knowing what happened, knowing where I was, what I felt, all that sort of stuff, you know, I'm very lucky to have that person in my life, and very glad that I managed to meet this person and, you know, get through all these things, because I genuinely feel that without this person who has been here, I genuinely don't think I would have made it through what I did. I genuinely don't. Not this time. All the other times, I knew I was. I didn't feel like it at the time, but I had a feeling and knew that I was going to get through it. But this year, it was just like, I didn't feel that. I didn't feel like I was going to make it through this. But I'm very glad that I did. I'm very happy that I did. And where I'm at now, you know, with this YouTube and videos and stuff like that, it's popped off quite a bit, more than I expected, you know, more than I expected, and it's gonna grow more. I hope, you know, I hope it grows more. I hope it gets out there. I hope, you know, these videos become more entertaining for people, and you know, where I get to play mostly every day, because I like playing games. I play them for fun, and I used to play them for fun so many days, pretty much every day, you know, every day of my life. Like, I have many hours spent on so many games that I just weren't able to record at the time because I didn't have the equipment. And it sucks because I want those first time experiences back. You know, I want those first time experiences in these games, and games that I played that I didn't manage to record at the time. But you know, looking at it now, it's like, although it's not as, you know, it's not huge, but it's still a lot. It's still a lot. And you know, I'm very appreciative of these moments and the people who have actually watched my videos and liked them, and you know, even commented on them, suggesting things, saying how, you know, how I'm doing a good job and how it's fun and stuff like that. You know, it doesn't need to be hundreds of people. You know, for me, just one person doing that, it's like, damn, I feel very good about myself and about the video. That's even just one person just commenting, saying how good this video is and how well it is, and you know, it's fun and stuff like that. It's like it hit more than I thought it would, you know, and I'm very happy about it. I'm very glad about it. You know, the best I've spoken about kind of the worst time of this year, but now the best time of this year, has been, freaking alarms, leave me alone. The best time of this year has been doing these videos, getting back into these videos. The best time of the year has just been, oh nice. I'm on this page. I'll switch it to it in a minute because this is what I want to talk about as well. I'm on this page on YouTube. I just saw one view go up on a video. Nice. Don't know which one, but it's within the last 2 days. So there we go. Wait, did it? What? Wait, hold on. No, it didn't. It went down. How did a view go down? Okay. Don't know how a view went down, but okay. Anyways, yeah. So the best time of this year has literally been these videos, and the person who has been here, and being able to talk to them every day and make the time, both sides, because the 8 hours, they're 8 hours ahead of me in time zone, and I'm very glad that we're both able to make time to talk to each other and to spend time and stuff like that. And it's been a lot longer than I thought it had been, really. And we've spoken about a lot, we've talked about a lot, we've gotten along a lot, and really helped a lot in these past few months. It's really helped, and they've really helped as well with supporting me with my videos that I post on YouTube. They've been there to support me and understand how I feel about playing games and making these videos and stuff like that, and just all the things that I've done, and I think that's the best thing that's happened this year is these times. And I thank so many whoever watches these videos. They might not be a lot, but whoever does, it's really helped. Even if you don't like them, it's okay. But I'm very thankful for how things have been this year on these videos and stuff like that, and overall analytics of these things and stuff like that. But yeah, just wanted to point that out, basically, about the bad things and the good things, because there's always going to be bad and good things in every year. But this year was my worst and my best. So I'm very, very glad that I'm very happy, and I'm very glad that actually what I went through is what I went through. And no, for anyone who does watch this and who has heard about the situation with the relationship, I'm not going to explain anything anything that's happened, because whatever you heard and whatever you know about the situation, that's all you're gonna know. I don't care how it's perceived by me. I don't care how people view me as a person because of what you've been told. But I'm not going to get into it. I'm not going to, because let me explain something. When I explain any situation, any bad or good situation, I don't say my point of view of it, because my point of view will always be different to the other person's point of view, and it's very different to what actually happens. So my point of view or my opinion about things is not relevant, and they're really irrelevant to what actually happened. I prefer to explain things how they actually went down, whether it paints me a bad picture or not. That's how I describe things. That's how I explain things. I explain things both good and bad for both people in those, or for all people in those situations. So I will never explain my side of things. I will never explain my point of view of things, because when it comes to this type of stuff, people's side of things, like your side of things and people's side of things and opinions about these things, are really irrelevant, given that they're just opinions and they're just your views and feelings on that situation. if you like, you know, that's why I prefer to explain when it comes to these sort of things. That's why I prefer to explain to certain people the everything that happened, not just my point of view. Like the entire story, whether it's bad for me. Like, yeah, I know what bad things I did. I know what good and bad things I did. I know what, you know, what happened entirely because I have a memory of so many things. You know, I have a memory built for things that I've thought that I've actually that I can remember from 5, 6, 7 years ago. You know, I view these things in my head and I see them, so my memory is very, very clear. I'm very on point most of the times. Yeah, I can be forgetful. I can be very forgetful on so many other subjects. But, you know, it's like on certain things, it's like I know because I visualize it. But anyways, so that's what I'm saying. So anyone who does watch this, who takes sides, who has taken this other person's side, I don't care. I genuinely don't. It doesn't affect my life anymore, and it doesn't affect me as a person. And it's nothing that no one here needs to know about. You know, yeah, I've explained situations about the financial things, about what happened to me, about things that, you know, have happened when I moved here, you know, sort of things like that. But getting into full detail about these things, about how things went exactly from the start to the end, I'm not going to do. And I'm never going to explain to people, especially on a YouTube video. I'm never going to do that because I know exactly what happened in every way. And yes, I did some bad things and I said some bad things during that time. But we both did. But I'm not going to take sides because, you know, genuinely as a people, as, you know, me and her, I know what good and bad things we both did. I know everything that happened as it did, not taking sides and not saying my own point of view on it because it's pointless. Because I could say my opinion was, I don't know, I could say my opinion was I felt like everything she did was bad. It wasn't. No, that's just irrelevant. That's stupid. You know, I'm not going to say that because I know what kind of person she is, good and bad. I see those point of views and I see it how it is. Whether someone's done a bad thing or not, I will always see both sides. I will always see every point of view. I will always see every side to every story that I know of, obviously, that's happened to me. So that leaves it there. This has been 43 minutes now. Didn't really plan on it being this long, to be honest, but now I'm gonna get into you know, a little bit like of the YouTube things that's happened. So hold on. Okay. So yeah. So this is the analytics of things in the past 28 days. Now, okay, hold on. Let's do lifetime. So we've had 1.7 thousand views in total. Obviously, that's mainly due to that other video that's got like 800 freaking views. Obviously, that was a video that got sent around, you know, for a very bad situation, for a bad reason, not bad situation, bad reason. But I just wanna thank pretty much anyone and everyone basically who has watched these videos, who has watched these, 65.5 hours in total. You know, I don't know how many things. Obviously 15 subscribers. We did have 16, but one went down, so I don't know who that is, but okay. Sorry it wasn't good enough, but you know. But yeah, 15 subscribers overall, 65.5 watch time, and 1.7 thousand views in total. And honestly, I am blown away. Even though that one video doesn't count technically, it still does, but it also doesn't. You know, So let's like chop off like, I don't know, 800 of these. So about 800 views. That's still a lot. 800 views in total from every video that we've gone, and it's 100. Well, tonight at midnight, I have a video coming out. So in an hour, well, 50 minutes, it'll be 101 videos. But as of right now, there are 100 videos that I have posted, and I think it's like a perfect kind of number to end the year with, to be honest. 100 videos, 101 in the next year. I find that very, very coincidental and very nice to leave it off. Not coincidental, that's the wrong word. But very nice to leave it off at, you know? Not leave it off at, but like leave the year off at that amount. So we've got like obviously these, you know, the top videos of this period. Yeah, like this one, 796 views. This is the one that people didn't like very much. But then there's like, huh? Wait, wait, huh? I'm even confused about this. I didn't know there was 274 views on this. I mean, that's still a lot of views though. 162, 31. I mean, wow. I didn't know. I thought they all came from this one. Wow. Okay. I mean, average view duration, still not a lot, but I mean, like, still, it's like, still 274 views is still a lot, you know? Even if they just viewed it, even for like 20 seconds, it's still, like, damn. But yeah, I thank everyone who watches these videos and actually watches them through and watches some of them and comments and stuff like that. I thank everyone who has supported and who has watched these videos and who has been here. Because I already know who the first subscriber was. I already know, you know. So thank you as well. You know, unless you're the one that's unsubscribed, I don't know. But anyways, I thank everyone who has been here, who has supported, and who has actually liked the videos. And as much as there might not be many, that's okay. You know, it's a progression. You know, I like it. Progression is a good thing. You don't have to start off big. I don't want to start off big. I don't, because I want it to progress. I want it to go from, I want to view in like maybe 10 years from now, maybe I want to hopefully view this back and look back there and be like, wow, look at where we've become, look at where we've come now, you know. And you know, it's very, I didn't have doubts, but I also didn't have very many hopes about this. Given the fact there's so many YouTubers out there now, and YouTube algorithm works completely differently than what it did years ago. So yeah, so like reach as well, 12.9 thousand impressions, you know, which is amazing in total. Impression click-through rate, which is 5.6%, not a lot, but you know, it's okay. Still the views. We can as well. We looked at, so let's do this. This month, 99% more compared to the previous month. That's a lot of impressions. You know, 99% more, and only 12. Obviously, it's lower, but it's 12% less than thing. 91 more viewers than usual this month. 89 unique viewers who have watched these videos before, and I watched them again. You know, I really appreciate it. You know, I thank you a lot. How they get searched and stuff like that. Obviously, you don't really need to go through that. Engagement, you know, watch time 11 hours, audience. You know, I really obviously plus five subscribers in the past month, which I'm very glad about. I'm happy about. So I just wanted to, you know, end this, not just end this on a positive note, but also like look through what's been, what this has brought, and the lifetime of things and all that sort of stuff. Like, we had our peak moment, clearly. Peak moment at 13th of July. That's a lot of views, not gonna lie. Wait, are these views? These are views, right? These, I don't know. But 170, wait, was it 163? It's a lot. A lot more than I expected. I'm glad these videos are. I'm glad so many people are getting into it now. It's probably being suggested on YouTube and stuff like that. I'm very happy where it's become, and I'm hoping. I have high hopes for future times and for next year and all that sort of stuff. So hopefully, of course, hopefully next year, you know, this pandemic thing. Hopefully next year cools down a lot more, and obviously it'll take some time. It'll take some time and take some getting thingy. But I just wanna, I wanna kind of get the appreciation of, I think that's the right saying, of these people who have watched and who subscribed and who is still here and who has watched the videos and liked them and commented and stuff like that and given tips, stuff like that. And it's just like, I didn't think I'd be here at all, to be honest. I just did this for fun. I did this for fun, I liked the idea of getting my videos out there because I've always loved playing games. I've always loved interacting with these games and the gameplay and all that sort of stuff and collectibles and all that sort of, getting all that sort of thing out there. But I just never had the opportunity and chance to make them a video and get them out there so many people can watch and stuff like that. Because it's just memories. When you look back on it maybe years and years from now, it's like very nice to just look back at it and just be like, I have these, I did this, and I like that a lot. And although there have been bad situations this year, I am very glad about everything I've been through this year. I'm very happy and I'm very glad about where I am now, and I'm also very appreciative of everything and everyone who's been here. Obviously I'm not just saying that one person has been here and the only person who has. There's been other people who've been here, my family. There's been some, one or two other people. I don't really keep many friends. I don't have a big friend group. I tend to kind of stay away from big friend groups. Not because they're bad, but also because I'm not very interactive with people sometimes. But yeah, I'm very glad about where this year is ending. I'm very happy about that, and I get to see Cairo more, well, not more, but like still get to see him, and I'm very happy about that. And I'm very happy about how about him being here in general. Now I've got my own place, how I'm able to manage all this all on my own. And a lot of people struggle with these things. I know that a lot of people struggle with getting these things done and being able to cope with these things. And I'm very lucky to be that one of those people who don't struggle with these things, who are able to cope with these things. I feel very lucky about that. And I don't know, maybe right, maybe I'll put a video out, maybe I'll do a video where I kind of explain to people how I go about doing what I do. Make life 20 times easier than it is, because it's possible. It's possible to make life 20 times easier for everyone. And one of the key things that I should say is, never expect life to be easy. If you expect life to be easy, you're going to be disappointed, because it should never be easy. You should let it be difficult. You should let yourself get through these. Make life hard for yourself for the future to become easier. That's one of the key things that I've done. I expect difficult things. I expect life to be hard because I learn from it. I get the experience from it, and I'm able to twist it in my own way to make life easier for myself in the future. And that's basically the main key thing of it for me. Like, yeah, it's not going to work the same way for everyone, right? But if I'm able to do it, so many other people are going to be able to do it. You just got to make the effort. You got to just try, and you got to try new things. You got to get through the bad things to get to the good things. You can't expect good things to happen all the time and expect yourself to get to the good things straight away, because it's never going to happen. You're going to be disappointed. It's never going to happen. You know, you're not going to get through to the good things first. You have to go through the bad times and the hard times first in order to get to the good ones and be able to keep it that way. You know, and that's one of the things that I'm able to understand and know and be able to do. But yeah, maybe I'll put a video out there, like, you know, maybe I'll make a video on this, and you know, maybe there's going to be some people who watch it and actually help some people and give them my advice, give them my ways of doing things and how I'm able to do the things I do and cope with the things I cope with, and how to but maybe help some people who go through bad situations and try and get their mentality like to a level that's more understanding if they are struggling with things. Because I'm not trying to say that I'm the best, you gotta listen to me. I'm not. I'm really not. But I am just trying to say that there are so many people who could probably use a lot of help with these sort of things, and you know, going through what I've been through as well. And yeah, it's not the worst. It's not the worst. There's been people who've gone through so many other worse things, but in my experiences, in my life experiences and what I've been through, I feel like I could probably help some people and help give advice about how to do things, about you could try and, you know, suggesting things you could possibly try out in so many different ways, because I've spoken and met so many people in the past, helping them, talking to them, getting them through their issues, and I chose to be there. I chose to do that. I never expected a friendship from it, but I chose to do that because I know how hard it can be. I know how struggling it can get. And I might not show it, you know, I might not show in these videos, you know, my entire life. And I'm not going to. I'm not going to show how struggling things are in my life in every video I make, because I want my videos and I want these times to be positive, but there are going to be negative times at points, and it's like, you know, I try to balance it out a little bit, because not in the videos, but like in these sort of videos where I'm talking and stuff like that, there's always going to be something bad and there's always going to be something good. But yeah, anyways, I think I've let this video long enough, and if you have your opinion about it, if you think that I've said something that is very disagreeable with, go ahead and put a comment. I'm not going to shove the comments out this time. Like in the other video that I did, like in this one, obviously with the comments being said and stuff like that, it was very, they weren't bad. I mean, they were bad, but like they didn't affect me. It's just, I tend to, when I see a message, I tend to have to like reply to get to explain it to people, or I kind of explain too much. So that's why I didn't turn the comments off because of other people commenting. I turned the comments off because I tend to explain too much that not everyone really needs to know. And that's why I turned them off in this video. But in this one, go ahead. Rampage your way through the comments. Say whatever you want. Come at me, because you ain't gonna do anything. It's not gonna affect my life. You're just wasting your own. I mean, if you do want to understand the situation more, you know, you're not going to. It's not gonna happen. Not now. Maybe back then, maybe I would have explained it if you asked, but not now. You know, now it's a new year nearly, and gonna start fresh. Gonna start new, and you know, these comments, you know, whatever comments you guys might reply with, or if they're bad, it's fine. If they're good, they're also fine. It doesn't matter. You know, say whatever you want. Say however many bad things as you want. Explain the situation about the relationship situation. Say whatever you want, because you're only wasting your own time, not mine. I'm going to see them, but I'm going to ignore them, and then move on with my life and make another video playing another game, like Halo, that I should do in probably tomorrow. For Monday, and not for Tuesday. But yeah, I'll leave this video here because we're nearly at an hour. So I don't even know if anyone's going to even watch this far ahead, to be honest. But hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like rating. It really helps a lot. Share it around. I'm very appreciative of I should change my camera back so it's easier to talk and thingy. Right, there we go. So yeah, share with your friends, family, whoever. It's really helped a lot. All of your support has been really good. It's helped a lot. I'm glad that although 15 of you subscribers might not always watch these videos, but I'm glad you're still here. And I'm glad that there's a lot of you watching these videos now. I'm glad that you're supporting the channel as little as it is. And I hope in the next few years, I hope to grow in the channel and as a person, because there's still so much that I feel like I need to learn and need to know. But you know, that's for the future. Right now, I'm just gonna live in the moment, live it as it is, and just get through life. Whether it's hard, whether it's easy, it's life. It's going to be. Anyways, hope you enjoyed, and if you did, then you know, yeah, I already said that. I think that's everything. Is that everything? I think that's everything. Yeah. Okay. I'll see all of you in whichever video I make next of whichever game or talking thing. I don't know the right word for it. I'm thinking of a word. I have it, but I can't think of it. Okay. Anyways, see you in the next video. Goodbye.